hiking today. Trying to find the trail right now. I'm on a gravel road. Like, for real gravel road. Been a while. Thank God it ain't muddy, because I'd probably get stuck. Anyway, this trail I'm going on, evidently takes you to some waterfall. I guess it's called Dog Slaughter Falls. Or this is like Cumberland Falls park area, whatever, state park. I think there's a shorter trail and then a longer trail. I think the shorter one's like 2-point-something miles. The longer one's 4. I don't know. If I can find a longer one, I'd take that one. Hopefully it's far enough off the road. Dog Slider Trail. 4 miles to the falls. Which means I better get friggin' moving. I can do that. Doable. And this is gonna be a pretty trail, I can already tell you. I mean, that's just right at the beginning. Okay, good choice. Since I'm so far out, I decided that no need to conceal carry, because I don't think this is a very touristy trail. I don't think 8 miles is too incredibly ambitious, personally. I think I can do it. 8-mile round trip. I mean, it's not like I'm hiking in the Smokies, you know? And that is cool. I'd be stopping all the time, but that's pretty cool. A little tributary going into the stream. Just crossed it. Okay. Dang, man. Kind of treacherous in a good way. Not something you see on a trail a whole lot, but it is the trail. This elevation variance stays like this on average. Pretty sure I can make another bridge. Probably another tributary when it's raining. Cool rocks. Yeah, see all this sand? There's footprints there too. Ain't mine. Multiple footprints. One precariously balanced boulder. Pretty cool. Don't see that every day. Usually I carry concealed when I'm on trails, especially popular ones, because, you know, it draws looks, basically. Turns heads, attracts attention. Like I said, this is seems like a less populated trail. Nobody was parked where I was, so footprints in the sand aside, those could have been from another day because it hasn't rained since last weekend. Regardless of that, I'm never on a trail unarmed. Never in the woods unarmed. Period. Ever. In my humble opinion, nobody should ever be in the woods unarmed. And you shouldn't be unarmed, period. But especially out in the wild, you never know what you're gonna encounter. That is a weird tree. So give yourself an advantage. Why put yourself at a disadvantage in nature? Nature is ferocious and unforgiving. It's a lot harder than we are. Try to give yourself as much advantage as you can get. I've listened to too many of these missing 411, or read too many of them. Listened to some. missing 411 cases on national parks and the disappearings that have been going on for decades, really, almost a century. But it seems like it's really ramped up in the last few decades. Now, that may or may not be the case. I think information is more readily available now, so that could make it appear though it were more common just because we found out about more of them. But some of these disappearances, they are strange and they are creepy. Some of them are really creepy. And there's one, and I probably shouldn't tell this story, being in the middle of the woods like I am, end up creeping myself out, because this one's a doozy. But I'm going to tell it to you anyway, because we got time to kill. And this was in 2012. It's a true story. Well, the parts that could be corroborated are true, but a brother and a sister went hiking in Arkansas. I can't remember the name of the state park right offhand, but they wanted to go find this fishing hole, I guess, that they'd been told about. And they were not young. I mean, they were, I think, 40s, 50s, something like that. Anyway, and this is just going from the information that we know and the information that we got from them, which wasn't a whole lot. Not information that made sense anyway, put it that way. They both survived, just to let you know. So we did get information from both people. So on the first day, they were together. We know that much. They started out on the trail. And at some point, they lost the trail. So, you know, they didn't freak out, really. They walked around for, I guess, the remainder of the day and tried to find the trail again. Never did. So they ended up having to sleep out in the wild. That first night, they slept, I guess. They woke up the next day, and we know they were still together at this point. Now, at some point on this second day, they somehow got separated, and they've never been able to either remember or explain. Basically, we don't know how they got separated, and they've never been able to say, or they've never said, I guess. We don't actually know what happened after, like, that night, that second night. On the third day, the brother shows up at home. His wife is there, and, you know, he, I guess, walks to the front door. He's asking, I guess, questions like, you know, how was your trip? He said it was fine. She asked where his sister was, and he said that he dropped her off at a relative's house. I guess it didn't make a whole lot of sense, because she basically, his wife could basically tell that something was off. So she called that relative. And that relative, you know, said, no, she's not here. I haven't spoken to either of them in months, actually. So she goes back to her husband, and she's pressing him for details. Like, when was the last time you saw your sister? Where was it? What day was it? And the more she starts pinning down on these exact answers, he starts to realize, and I guess she had no reason to believe that he had been lying, because as she's asking these questions, he realizes he doesn't know the answer to these questions. He thought he knew, I guess, or he thought he had some kind of memory of dropping her off at the relative's house. That would mean that she was in the car with him at some point, or at least he thought she was. She wasn't. He's starting to freak out because he's realizing that what he remembers isn't right. He doesn't know when the last time he saw her was. He doesn't know what they were doing when he last saw her. At this point, they, I guess they initiated the missing protocol, whatever, to begin a search, basically. So in the meantime, sorry to break from the story, but that's a really cool rock. So, in the meantime, all this is going on with them, right? He's realizing he doesn't know where she's at, blah, blah, blah. His sister is still out there. Now, her account and what because she was rescued a few days later, her account, hard to believe. But not outside the realm of possibility. She does remember everything about them getting lost. She doesn't remember how they got split up or when exactly. It was the second day though. They can both agree on that. I guess she was forced to sleep out in the woods on her own, again, alone, that second night. On the third day, while he's driving home, she is wandering through the woods, I guess, looking for the trail or any way out, basically, any way to point her to civilization. She happens upon a group of people. In the story, she calls them hikers. I think there were like 5 or 7 of them, I don't know. It's more than just a couple. And she sees them walking through the woods, and she thinks, oh my God, finally, somebody can help me. I found help. So she starts waving them down, yelling, running towards them, hoping for help. When they see her and they hear her, they turn to look at her. And she said she immediately got this warning feeling. It's like, that instinct, basically, that the reactions aren't matching up with normal behavior. Hair on the back of your neck kind of thing. So she kind of slows down. They have made no reaction to her at this point until all of them, at the same time, run and duck, hide behind trees. They all scatter behind the nearest tree, or hiding behind the tree. Now at this point, she's stopped. She's not running towards them anymore. Obviously, this is freaking her out, and she's trying to figure out, like, what is this? Like, what have I stumbled on? Are they joking? Like, what are these people doing? And then she said, all at the same time, they all poked their head out from behind the tree that they were hiding behind, just to look at it. Then she starts backpedaling, right? Because this is incorrect behavior. Like, there's no reason for this, no rhyme or reason. So she's trying to back up from them. She says, then they stepped back out from behind the trees that they were hiding behind, and just continued to stare at her. The rest of her memory, see, the thing about it is, she never said she ran away from them at that point. She doesn't remember what happened then. I mean, it's possible she could have been so scared that it's a foregone conclusion that she ran away. She just didn't initially tell that part, or that she was so scared out of her mind she doesn't remember running away. Just kind of panicked, Both are legit. The rest of it is blurry for her. She has like sporadic memory of sleeping in the woods, basically just making. That's what she remembers doing. She does, and this is messed up, she does remember one morning. It was early morning, like still dark out, just before dawn, on one of these nights that she was forced to sleep out in the woods. She remembers waking up on the ground, she's sleeping on the ground, and feeling, just having this feeling of being watched. Sure, at that point it was a pretty common feeling to have for her. she hears leaves rustling and looks over, and she sees a black figure standing there, just squared off towards her, facing her. I think it says like 20-30 meters away, something like that. And then she looks to the side of him, notices another black figure, starts to look around. They're everywhere, surrounding her, squared off, staring at her. She can't see any features of them. They're just black shadows. I knew I shouldn't have told this story when I was hiking out in the middle of the friggin' woods. Anyway, once they realize that she has acknowledged them, like she knows they're there, they turn almost on one and take off in all different directions. Just scatter, multiple independent directions. So I guess after that, she didn't say what she did next, even if she does remember what she did next right after that happened. But the searchers did manage to find her. She was okay, obviously starving and dehydrated, but otherwise fine. Creepy story. There's a lot of other creepy stories like that from these missing 411 files. Some of them are just wild. Check out that bluff. But yeah, weird stuff. Moral of the story is, stay armed. Cool bluffs. Got some tricky spots, that's for sure. One more mile. Damn, I already came 3. No freaking way, man. That's the other trail for dog slaughter, the easy one. Huh. Had not realized I'd come that far already. Man, I had a great time. Don't worry. That's not dog slaughter falls. As far as natural shelters go, that one's a mansion. Hey guys. Hey buddy. That must be it. This is the drop. A long hike back. Pretty waterfall. Pretty trail, for sure. Now, gotta make really good time getting back. Passing the easy trail. Be on my own from here. You watch. Bet you anything. Little campsite over there. Can see the fire ring. I mean, I built better ones, of course, but I like to start. Cool rock again. That's a big one. Getting there. Still making good time. Pretty sure I'm close. Made it. Cars up there. Big tunnel on that road. Good trail. Pretty trail. My legs and feet. A little tired. Kind of sore. Worth it though.
Room to put a horse out here if I wanted one.
Just fence the whole thing.
That's what I wish we could do.
He'll mow the lawn. I have to go get gas, the special gas. There might be a gallon in there. I need a gallon of gasoline exactly.
Get gas in my boot.
Good gassy right there. Gassy. This is probably illegal in California too.
Probably.
What do you think?
It's close enough. It's fine.
You sure? Mm-hmm. A little bit more. Better to be too thick than what is it? What do we need that? Do we need it? It was in there. That's probably why it's having such a problem pour out. You been notice? I thought it was one of those safe California tanks or something. Like you can only trickle it. They don't. You're not responsible enough to pour the gas.
Often imitated, never duplicated.
Taters? Well, they're already grown.
So part of starting seeds, my man. Get a jump start.
Huh. You don't have a hole here.
Yeah, I had one left.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing. Not a clue. You might want to check out one. Bow, 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 bow. That's pretty close to good, isn't it?
Yeah, that was great.
That one I'm gonna need help with.
I got 22 eggs just in here.
That's not counting the ones out in the yard.
Wow. You're going to hobo for yourself.
Who, Fatty?
Yeah.
How's it feel to be pet?
Man, she was a lot better at catching them than I am.
This one, right here. Yeah, that one right there. You ain't never gonna catch. You never catch.
Yeah, she does look fast. Yeah, she's fast. Look at Looks a lot better, I think. Becky. What are you doing, Becky? Better go to bed, Becky. Bobcat gonna get you.
Cat on a leash.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, buddy. Enough exercise. Small medicine.